Hey everyone, this is Lanette from Novels and Hops, and this is my super ambitious November TBR. The first book on my list I've actually already read in the beginning of the month, and I just ate it up. I completely devoured this book in one evening, and that is One Dark Throne by Kendare Blake. It's the second in the series of the Three Dark Crowns. If you're not familiar with the Three Dark Crowns series, it follows three queens who are triplets. They all have supernatural powers. One is a poisoner, which means she can ingest any type of poison and not die. One is an elemental, which means she can control all of Earth's elements like fire and water and wind and the weather and conjure storms and all kinds of fun stuff. And the third one is a naturalist, which means she can make plants bloom, and all of the naturalists sort of have this animal familiar, which is like an extension of themselves. And all three queens have to battle it out in the Ascension year, basically to kill one another to become queen, and the last one standing gets to sit on the throne. It's an awesome, awesome series, and I'm so totally obsessed with it right now. I cannot wait for the next book to come out. So if you haven't checked out this series, I highly recommend you do so. And it's so great. I'm so obsessed with it right now, and I just cannot wait until the next book comes out. The next book on my list is by one of my all-time favorite authors. He writes one of my favorite series in the whole world, the Gone series, and that is Michael Grant. And this book is Monster. And I had to buy this book. Most of the time I buy ebooks not because I like them better, but just because they're easier. I don't always get out and go to the bookstore to get all the new releases. So sometimes it's just easier for me to just hop on Amazon and grab an ebook and read it in an evening or whatever. But this book is one that I absolutely had to own because I am absolutely in love with the Gone series. And this book, Monster, takes place 4 years after the events of Gone. And it's so great. I love Michael Grant so much. I started the first 3 chapters or so, and already I'm so hooked. I just love Michael Grant. I love the Gone series. If you're not familiar with the Gone series, there's 6 or 7 books, and they're all pretty hefty. I mean, it took me a while to get through this series, but it follows a group of kids in California, and basically this dome, it's kind of like Stephen King's Under the Dome book. This dome pops up over this town, and it kicks out everybody over the age of 15. And basically it's just like a Lord of the Flies type of book. They have to learn how to live in society and with one another, and how they're going to feed themselves and how they're going to take care of themselves, because there's itty bitty babies and 15-year-olds all mixed into one, kids of all ages, and they're scared and confused, and nobody understands why this dome appeared or what it has to do with anything. And then they start to develop supernatural powers on top of everything else. And some of those kids obviously use their powers for the good of the kids in the dome, and some not so much. Some are pretty just downright evil. But this book, Monster, I am so freaking excited about because I just love the Gone series, and when it was over, I was just so thirsty for more. I believe that this is going to be it's going to be a trilogy that takes place 4 years after the events of the Gone series. So I'm completely obsessed already in the 3rd chapter in, and I cannot wait to finish it. I'm sure I will make a video about it. I will probably write a review about it, but check that out and let me know if you've already read it and what your thoughts on it were. Next book on my list, it just jumped out at me at the bookstore, and I've been kicking myself because it's been sitting on my shelves now for a couple months, because I think it came out in August or September, around that time. But it's one of my favorite colors. It's this beautiful green. I mean, can we just talk about this cover? But this is the female of the species, and I know a lot of you have probably already read it. I've kind of been avoiding it, honestly, because I know that it deals with some pretty heavy subject matter. So I'm just trying to get into a certain mood before I read it. But I'm super excited to do so. I'm completely obsessed with this cover. That's all. That's all I really want to say about it. I will let you know what I think about it. But like I said, I'm trying to get myself in the right headspace to read it because I know it deals with some stuff. So that's all I'm going to say about it, because I'm sure most of you have read it or watched reviews about it. But that's on my TBR for this month. The next book on my list is in ebook form, so I don't have a physical copy here with me, but that is The Girl with the Red Balloon by Catherine Locke. I started to read a synopsis of this, and honestly, I don't know too much about this book, because when I started to read the synopsis, I saw the first two words, which was time travel, and immediately I knew I had to read this book. So honestly, I didn't finish the rest of the synopsis. I don't know what it's about, other than it's about time travel, and why not? I mean, enough said, right? Time travel. I'm sold. So this next book on my TBR list, I'm sure is on many people's TBR list, probably for last month. I'm a little bit behind the game. But I'm not sure if I want to read this one first or this other one that's really similar. My friend Tiffany has been on my back about reading Ready Player One. She has been telling me over and over and over again how fantastic it is, and I just haven't got around to reading it. It's just one of those books that I'm kind of embarrassed that I haven't read yet, because everybody goes on about how great it is. But I finally picked it up at the bookstore the other day because it was on sale, and I am a sucker for a good sale. So I don't know if I want to read it first or if I want to read Warcross by Marie Lu first. So for those of you who have read both, which one should I start with? Drop it in the comments below. Let me know if I should read Ready Player One first or if I should read Warcross. Because she said she read Ready Player One first, and when she's reading Warcross, it's kind of taken her a while to get through it because she just can't get Ready Player One out of her head. So I don't know if I should go into it with a fresh take or if I should go into it having already read this sort of original gangster of this genre, but just let me know what you think in the comments, which one I should read. But definitely either or is on my TBR for November, and I'm sure whatever one I don't pick up this month, I will pretty much be picking up within the next couple weeks or months to come. The next book on my list is really more of an author pick because I was completely in love with her debut series, the Chemical Garden trilogy, and that is Lauren DeStefano. She has a new book out. It's called The Glass Spare. It's like a fantasy. It gives me a very Three Dark Crowns feel. It's about kingdoms and queens and things like that. So I don't know too much about it. I try not to spoil books for myself because I've done that in the past and been completely disappointed with them. But I really just picked this book up because of the author, because I love Lauren's writing, and I was so in love with the story and the plot and the characters and just everything about the Chemical Garden trilogy, which was her debut. So that was really more of an author pick, but I am positive that I'm going to love anything that Lauren writes. Again, I know I'm a little behind the game on this because this came out a few months ago, but the next book on my list is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. I, again, don't know much about this. I've seen a lot of people on BookTube have read this and has loved it and has talked about how funny it is. So I don't really know what to expect going in, but I kind of like that. I kind of like that I don't know too much about some of these books that's on my TBR because I like to be surprised, and I don't like too many spoilery type things because, like I said, I've spoiled books for myself in the past and have just been completely disappointed in myself for doing so. So I'm trying not to read too much about it, but I've heard that this book is really funny, and I thought that it's pouring down rain outside right now, so I think this is just the perfect time of year for something upbeat and lighthearted, and so that's the impression that I got from this book, and that's why it's on my TBR for this month. And this next book on my list is completely a judgmental pick because I love the cover of it, and that is Strange the Dreamer. and it doesn't seem like things that I would normally read, but I'm trying to branch a little bit out of my comfort zone. Like I said in my introduction video, I read more dystopian, apocalyptic, kind of, happy things like that. But I really am trying to branch more into this fantasy type genre. So I really loved the cover of it, and everybody was talking about just really how great it was, and I just fell in love with that cover. Like, I'll be completely honest with you that when I walk into a bookstore and I go up to the best in teen table, I skim first for authors that I love. If Michael Grant has anything new, I'll certainly pick that up. But then I browse again and I look at the most beautiful covers. I'm not gonna lie to you. I completely am so petty that I do that, but I'm a sucker for a good cover, and that's actually, where is it? Oh, it's clear up there. But that's actually why I picked up Illuminae. My sister and I were book shopping, and we had no idea anything about this book. We just saw that beautiful gold and red and orange cover, and it was just so translucent and beautiful, and we knew nothing about the book and took the plunge and spent the 20 some bucks on it or whatever it was for a hard copy, and I completely fell in love with that book. So I'm not even sorry that I judge books by their cover, because it brought me Illuminae, and I wouldn't have discovered that book otherwise, because I love that cover so much. So Strange the Dreamer is another one where I just fell in love with the cover, and I'm just anxious to see what story awaits me inside. So that's it. That is it for my ambitious November TBR. And I know there's only 8 or 9 books on this list, but I am a mom of 2, like I said, so 8 or 9 books for me in a month is like a pipe dream almost, if I have enough free time to sit down and read for pleasure. So if I get all these books read, or if I even get half of them read, I'm going to be happy about it. But I am excited about these TBRs. What's on your TBR list for this month? What am I missing? Is there anything that's new and exciting coming out this month that I need to be reading instead of one of these guys? I mean, is there anything that I can push back to next month, and something that I absolutely need to read right now this month? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I love to learn about new books. I love recommendations, and anything you want to see a video on, or anything that you want me to do a review on, I'd be happy to do it. So just let me know. Drop me a comment, send me an email, write to me on my blog, which is novelsandhops.wordpress.com. Whatever you gotta do to contact with me, I'm open. So thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys. So the next book on my list is, what is it? I don't remember. Hi, Popper. Hi, Popper. Oh, yeah. You're a cute little popper. Yes, you are. You're a cute popper. Yeah. The next book on my TBR list for November is